So this is my Menudo Cook-Off story. A Menudo Cook-Off is much like a chili cook-off, except with menudo. And menudo is a traditional Mexican soup, if you will, made with cow stomach, tripe, or tripe as they call it. And so you clean it real good and cut it into squares and put it into this fabulous soup. I've come to have many times since then, and I love it. And so I had been in many chili cook-offs, and so had my friend Mike Owens and his brother Kenny Owens. And Mike knew this guy from work, this Mexican guy that knew a lot about menudo, and he wanted to go to enter a menudo cook-off. And it's a whole weekend. It's a big thing. Bands. There's probably at least 100 groups of guys that go out and pitch tents and stay all weekend and make their best menudo and serve it up. And it's judged by various rounds of people, and a winner's declared. But it's a whole weekend of partying is what it is, with big bands, local bands, Patsy Torres, and I want to say Flaco Jimenez was there, but if I can't remember. But a lot of bands there, and so it's a big party. And so we get there Friday night. It's a whole weekend, and Friday night there's no cooking. It's all about setting up your tents, because everybody was camping out in tents and setting up your tents and your thing for the next morning, getting all your utensil, getting all your food ready. And we're already drinking tequila. We have a bottle. We're passing it around Friday night, and Mike says, well, we got to start thawing the menudo. And we go, okay, we're thinking of it's stomach, cow stomach, and we're only serving one bowl as to be judged. It's not a bowl actually, but it's a container to be judged. So we don't need to make much. But Mike and his best friend had prepared for a mega proportions. Mike, he worked at Fleming's Foods, which is a food warehouse distributor. And he got this deal on 50 pounds of cow stomach, tripe. 50 pounds of frozen tripe. And I don't know if it fell off the back of a truck or they were selling it to employees for cheap or whatever, but he had 50 pounds of frozen stomach. So we set about putting it in water and this and that, and changed it all night long to get it thawed out for the next day. And as the night goes on, we're drinking more and more tequila. The bands are popping and jumping. Some beautiful women there. There must have been, I'm not exaggerating, 5,000 people there, maybe more, because there was a big stage and bands and all these people that were already entering into that with their families. It was huge. Out on the northwest side off of I'll think of it in a minute, but off of out past Loop 1604 on I'll think of it. Anyways, it's driving me crazy. So we're out there and we're drinking. It's a big thing out in the kind of woods, and we're camping and we're drinking and bands, having a good time. And then it starts raining, and I mean, it rained 10 inches. It was a freaking nightmare eventually, but that night nobody gave a damn. And I remember passing out, and we had cots set up that we bought, these little aluminum, or brought from, we camped in little aluminum cots, and it was me and Mike and his brother Kenny and his friend of theirs. And I remember Mike going out at, it must have been 5 in the morning or maybe 2 in the morning. I'm so drunk I can barely move, and he's singing "Pretty Little Lights of Town, May turn my baby's head around. The Leroy brothers, he got a bottle of tequila. He's going out to find him a woman, I guess. And so we wake up the next morning, and Kenny, Mike's little brother, he's on a cot, and the cots have these kind of fold out like lawn chairs legs, and he's laying on it, and the leg under his head had collapsed, and so his body was laying flat, and then boomed down to where his head was touching the ground, and he's passed out drunk on tequila, and there's about 3 inch, maybe 2 inches of water in our tent from the rain. So the top of his head is laying in the water. Oh, we grab him and shake him awake. We all get up, and then we go out there, and we're hungover as hell. Now, Menudo is well known in the Mexican culture for its hangover, as a hangover cure. Although not all Mexicans use it for that. Most Mexicans, the women and children in particular, don't get drunk. But it's a well-known hangover cure. So we go out there, and we have to take this 50 pounds of cow's stomach, which is the greasiest, slimiest, smelliest, most disgusting thing I have ever seen in my whole life. And we have 50 pounds of it that we have to cut into little squares this big and scrape and clean it and get the grease off. We're all 4 of us cutting a little blood. It was the most disgusting event of my whole life, man. And I have no clue if we even placed. We turned our bowl in, but we had the time of our lives. Pretty Little Lights of Town. Check it out, the Leroy brothers. From about 1985, somewhere 86, 88, from Austin, Texas. We were in San Antonio.